And Josh mentioned it, they haven't gotten a Big Ten win yet, Luke. 0-3 to start out the Big Ten. They start off with Michigan State, then went to Ohio State and at Penn State. You see it there, they're at the bottom of the Big Ten right now. And this Purdue team, they have a good defense, and it's going to be a tough one.
They have an excellent defense, limiting opponents to 60.2 points a game. Indiana's going to be hard-pressed to get some points.
So as the players getting set in the middle of the court, the ref getting set as well. Getting ready to throw the ball up in the air. It's tipped, and Purdue comes away with it. This is Lamina Cooper on the left wing. This Purdue team, as we said, a very good defense, only giving up 60 points per game to the opposing teams. It's Purdue trying to drive it down low. That's Andriana Keys. She can't get it to go. And now Buss leading the break. Obviously, Tyra Buss with the milestone breaker last game against Penn State. She had 27 points in that one, but more importantly, she broke the program record in points.
She was honored before the game, and rightfully so. Prolific scorer and one of the best to ever do it for Bloomington.
Now Royster down low. She travels with it, and that Purdue defense already forcing a turnover in the last 5 games. This Purdue defense forcing almost 19 turnovers a game. This is Keys with it, taking it to the basket, and she gets blocked by Cahill. Buss trying to push for the Hoosiers. In the middle, back out to Cahill. She drives in, lays it off to a wide open Kim Royster. And Assembly Hall is pretty filled up. This lower portion of Assembly Hall, a lot of fans coming out for this rivalry matchup between Indiana and Purdue. Here's Cooper in the middle, and she traveled with it. Going the other way for Indiana.
And what I'm liking from Indiana so far, they're pressuring the ball. That's something Purdue has done very well this season. But they're going to taste their own medicine there. Tyra Buss right up on the play, making a good defensive stop.
As I mentioned, Tyra Buss 27 points in the last outing, but Indiana did lose that game to Penn State by 3 points. And that was a tough loss for them, so they're going to try to avenge that one with a rivalry win here. As you see Purdue in that 3-2 zone, Coach Moore talked about it. It's going to be a tough matchup in that 3-2 zone, but they're going to be ready for it as they've been preparing throughout the week. Here's Yaney at the top of the key with 5 on the shot clock. Back out to Cahill. She fires, but she cannot hit. As Keys collects the rebound, up to Cooper. Back top of the key to Keys. She's going to fire, and she knocks it down.
That's not knowing where your man is. Indiana has to be very cognizant of where all players are on the floor, and that time just a wide open shot.
Keys only a 23% shooter from beyond the arc, but she knocks that one down, as most people will when they're wide open. Now Buss driving in with the foul. She can't get the bucket to go, but she will be at the line.
Great bit of body control by Tyra Buss, leaning into the defender. If she goes up for the shot, even if she puts it up with her left hand, good chance it gets blocked. Instead, when she goes into the defender, draws the foul, gets 2 free throws.
Tyra Buss very good at that. She's broken the record in free throws attempted and free throws made, and add another one onto that with the free throw made there. As this game's tied at 3, that foul is on Dominique Oden, her first and the team's first. 2 good free throws from Tyra Buss, and it's a 1-point lead for the Indiana Hoosiers. 7:54 to go in the first quarter as Chris McLaughlin brings it up the court for the Boilermakers. Now Keys takes it down low. That one's not even close. And Royster comes down with the rebound. Now Buss pushing the break at the top of the key. She's gonna fire, and it's in and out. Now McLaughlin pushing. Pulls it back out. Off to Harris. Now Oden with it on the top of the key, reverses it over to McLaughlin. 15 on the shot clock for Keys. Into McLaughlin again. She's looking around. Good defense here by the Hoosiers with 5 to go on the shot clock. Now Purdue's gonna have to put up a shot. Carissa McLaughlin takes the 3. That one doesn't find the rim, and that's a shot clock violation on the Purdue Boilermakers.
That all comes down to Kim Royster in the post. She was fronting in the post, made sure there couldn't be an entry pass. If they got it in the post, they could kick it out to the wings. Royster did a great job on that possession.
That's one thing this Purdue team does very well, is they get it inside to the post and work that inside-out game very well. Now Indiana trying to answer. Yaney in the corner to Buss. She drives in, back out to Cahill. She takes it all the way, and she'll lay it in. Nice drive there by Cahill. Turns the corner, saw the open lane, and took advantage.
When you play a 3-2 like that, if you get past the 3 on the perimeter, I mean, it's the soft underbelly. You have a good chance of putting in a layup just like the Hoosiers did.
Man-to-man defense for Indiana as they've played for most of the year. Keys inside to Harris, back out to McLaughlin. McLaughlin talked about, Coach Moore talked about her. She's really a shooting guard, but playing point guard for this Purdue team. As now Keys takes it down low, tried to get it off to Oden, and Oden got tripped up. And a foul will be called. And that will go on Kim Royster.
If Purdue keeps driving it into the paint like they did on that possession, good things are going to happen. Their first couple possessions, they've been stagnant on the outside. They drive it in, you got a good chance to pick up fouls.
6-3 ball game here in the early going of this one. On BTN Student U, Purdue gets it in. Top of the key to Cooper, left side to McLaughlin. Purdue got a fresh shot clock after that foul. Now Cooper on the right side. Looking around. Gets a pass off, is mishandled by Oden, but then she corrals it. Harris. Left side to Cooper. She's going to take the jumper, but she cannot connect. Tyra Buss with the rebound, and she'll bring it up for the Hoosiers. Buss will set up the offense as Indiana doing well to penetrate this zone, get some shots inside. And here's another one. They get it inside the zone, back out to Buss. She'll drive in, put up the floater. It's no good. Now Cooper pushing for the Boilermakers. Out to McLaughlin. One thing Coach Moore talked about is transition defense. They need to focus and know who they're on and try to shut them down. And Indiana's done a great job of that so far, as you see Yaney there cycling through and getting in front of McLaughlin. Now back out to Keys. Right side to Cooper. She'll drive in with 5 on the shot clock. Now McLaughlin driving, kicking the shot, and it's off the mark. And a box out, but almost too good of a box out there by Jalen Penn. She couldn't get the rebound, and Purdue gets the offensive rebound.
They always want to say when you box out, you want to have the ball hit the floor. And in that situation, the ball hit the floor, there was just no Hoosier nearby.
Now Oden with it. 4:42 to go here in the first quarter in Bloomington. 6-3, Indiana leads. Keys on the top of the key. Inside to Harris. Tough defense by Royster. She'll pull up, and she knocks it down. Andriana Keys averaging almost 13 points a game. She gets 2 of them right there. Here's Cahill for the Hoosiers. Right side to Penn. Trying to get it inside, but now she gets it back. Now she'll pull up from 15 feet, and she will hit it.
That's a nice little shot.
A turnover by the Purdue. Here's Cahill, and she knocks it down. A heads-up play by Tyra Buss, and a little miscommunication by the Boilermakers turns into a 5-point lead for the Indiana Hoosiers. So we're underway here in Bloomington for the 3rd round of the NCAA tournament between the number 2 ranked Indiana Hoosiers and the New Hampshire Wildcats. New Hampshire beating Fairfield 3-0 in their first round, and then going up against Dartmouth, the Big Green, in the second round, won in PKs 4-1, and Andrew Pesci made a save on Dartmouth's second attempt, and he actually sealed the deal as he stepped up and put in the 4th goal in PKs to send them here to Bloomington. It'll be a fun matchup between these two teams. Zan mentioned how both of these defenses very good. Indiana, 17 shutouts on the season, and New Hampshire, I should say, with 12 on the season for themselves. So very strong defenses for both teams, and it really could come down to which attack is going to break through.
Yeah, it really is, and I think Indiana definitely has the upper hand on the attack. They're 10th in the nation in all of the NCAA in goals scored per game this season, just over 2, and a lot of it has to do with Mason Toy, Big Ten Freshman of the Year, 10 goals this year, but you can't, at the same time, you can't forget about Andrew Gutman, the left back for this Indiana team, who's 6 goals on the year.
Now Mason Toy already imposing his will up top, but it's taken away by the back line of New Hampshire and sent right back to the back line of Indiana. And one man to watch for this Wildcat team is number 13, Robin Schmidt, up top.
Yeah, Robin Schmidt had an amazing season this year in his first year here with New Hampshire. Came from Germany, is a graduate student, and he still had some eligibility left, so he came over to the States, came to New Hampshire, scored 8 goals this season. Definitely one to watch for this in tonight's game.
Here's Gutman, plays it in towards the 6-yard box, and it's tipped away by that back line. The back line headed by number 4, Willis Griffith, the transfer from Northwestern. The Northwestern Wildcats out of the Big Ten.
Yeah, Willis Griffith is familiar with this Indiana team, played at Northwestern the last 2 games, but look at Andrew Gutman go down the flank. That's what he does best.
Gutman from the end line gets it to Toy. Toy with the right foot, can't do anything with it. And it's cleared away, but Frankie Moore is there to pick it back up. Frankie Moore, the first team Big Ten All-Selection, as he's really been a great holding midfielder there for Indiana all season.
Francesco Moore is probably one of the more underrated players on this Indiana team. I mean, I don't know if he's so underrated anymore because he's first team All Big Ten now, but he said he came into this year hoping to get second team All Big Ten. That'd be a great goal for him. But first team, he's not a stat sheet stuffer. That's the thing. So you kind of forget about him, but he holds a great midfield for this team. You saw on a ball like that New Hampshire's trying to clear out. He keeps it in on Indiana's attacking half, and that's what he does best for this team. He's just right there in the middle at all times.
Absolutely a great holding midfielder, and then whenever Indiana does push up on those set pieces, setting up Timmy Mill and Grant Lillard, he drops back in the center back position for either one of them and holds his place well up there, and then they switch right back. This team defensively, a team defense, not just the back line. They cycle very well, they communicate very well, which is a huge part in the reason why they have 17 shutouts on the season. But then you also got to talk about Trey Muse, the freshman goalkeeper in between the posts.
Yeah, absolutely. Trey Muse has been phenomenal. I mean, a lot of it has to do with the fact that he was raised through the Seattle Sounders Academy, coming here to Indiana, no problems.
As Gutman and Toy try to connect with the 1-2, but a little miscommunication there with Toy and Gutman. And Gutman will be a factor running down that left flank from his left back position, one of the most prolific scorers, prolific defenders, I should say, offensively.
Yeah, I mean, we've already seen it 3 times already here in the first 4 minutes of this game. Andrew Gutman causing trouble, getting the ball inside of the 18. But at the same time, he's able to get back and defend his position, which is an incredible thing to do as a defender, able to be on both sides of the field effectively. And he's still a very integral part of that back line with Grant Lillard and Timmy Mell in the middle.
So a goal kick coming up for Trey Muse as it gets cleared away from the midfield from New Hampshire. And I think one thing that'll be interesting to watch for is really a lot of teams that come out and play against Indiana, especially here at home, is both teams start going at it back and forth a little bit throughout the first 15, 20 minutes, and then Indiana starts to settle in. They get a little bit more of attacking chances, and if they don't score at the end of the first half, they usually come out to start out the second half and score, and they really just tire teams down as the game goes on.
Yeah, they really do, and over the course of the season, we've seen Mason Toy really cause trouble with opposing defenses, and especially because as he's gone on in the season, he's gotten his legs underneath him more. At the beginning of the year, we saw Toy, he got a lot of minutes, didn't really start at the beginning of the year, but he was still able to get in games and cause problems. But now we've seen him kind of play full 90-minute games, and if the game goes into extra time, we've seen him play throughout the duration of that. So he's really gotten better as the season goes on, and here he is again.
So Mason Toy trying to get on the attack for the Hoosiers, goes outside, cuts it back in, and looks like he takes a shot from outside there. It was on the ground, so it ended up looking like a pass, but he does have the ability to shoot from deep.
Yeah, he definitely has the ability to shoot from deep, but I think Todd Yeagley would rather him get inside the box and make those chances.
Now Doherty trying to team up with Schmidt up top for the Wildcats. He hands it off to Schmidt. Schmidt with 8 goals on the season, only playing in 15 and starting in 10 of those, and now Doherty has it in the middle of the box, but it's cleared away by Timmy Mill.
Great job right there by the Indiana back line, and that's what they do every single game this entire season. They make it look effortless. I mean, you go back and you try to watch highlights of the Indiana defense. Well, there really isn't any because every time the other team gets the ball in the box, they clear it away just like that. Timmy Mell and Grant Lillard just make it look so easy inside that 18.
Schmidt playing it outside to Dante Lamb. Now Lamb plays it in with the right foot towards the top of the box to Antonio Calachi. And it's cleared away over to Griffin Dorsey. And now Dorsey using his pace on the outside. He's got a little space in front of him. Lays it off to Poncho. Poncho on the top of the 18. Gets it to his left foot. He's got 2 defenders in front. And some great defense there by the Wildcats to get it away. I've been a lifelong fan. Well, that's a strong sentiment. I've been aware of the Indiana University football program ever since my dad introduced me to being a fan of Indiana athletics. My first IU football game was in 2009 against the Wisconsin Badgers. I don't remember much about the game, but I do remember that that was the first time of many that IU football had let me down. The Hoosiers lost that game 31-28. That day, I had been sucked into the cruel game that is being a fan of Indiana football. Get excited for 2 or 3 quarters just to have your hopes crushed by the lack of consistency and finishing that any competent football team needs. For years, I've been saying, well, at least we have basketball to look forward to. But when does that change? When does someone come to a sad Indiana football program and change the culture? This season was much of the same. Hey, Indiana played well against Ohio State for 2 quarters. Did you see Indiana lost to Michigan in OT? Indiana lost to Maryland? I thought Purdue's program was worse than Indiana's. That's the DNA of Indiana football. Will it change? Who knows? Welcome into sports. I'm Jacob Vinson. Well, the Colts had hoped that a win in Houston last week would be a turning point in their season, and it looked like it would be today as they faced the Steelers, until the 4th quarter happened. The Steelers have had the Colts' number lately, beating them the last 4 times they've faced off. Pagano has never beaten them in his career with the Colts. Vontae Davis is gone, Pierre Desir in at quarterback, and Ben Roethlisberger tests him, and that's a bad idea. Desir picks him off, and it's a scoreless first quarter. Second quarter, Colts find the end zone. Jacoby Brissett connects with Dante Moncrief for a 60-yard touchdown. Colts go ahead 7-zip, and it's 10-3 Indy at the break. First possession of the second half, Brissett with another long hookup, this one to Chester Rogers, dicing up the secondary for a 61-yard touchdown, his first in the NFL. Colts on top 17-3, and Rogers is going to do a little jig. A critical mistake here. Ball goes through Jack Doyle's hands and is intercepted by Ryan Shazier at the Colts' 10-yard line. Steelers are in great shape now, and they're going to take advantage. Roethlisberger stepping up in the pocket, finding a wide-open Vance McDonald for the 7-yard score. 2-point conversion is good, and the game is tied at 17. And 4 seconds to go, Chris Boswell nails a 33-yard field goal, and that's the game. Steelers rally for a 20-17 win. The Colts are now 3-7 heading into the bye week. Chuck Pagano, after the game, displeased with the deja vu of a bad second-half performance.
It's not about toughness. It's not about want to. It's not about being physical. It's none of that stuff. And we played really good football for a long time. And then we made critical errors in critical situations. And you can't do it. And you can't do it against anybody in this league, and you certainly can't do it against one of the better teams in the National Football League.
Well, on Friday, Archie Miller called his team soft after they were beat in their first game of the season by the Indiana State Sycamores. Not the way they wanted to start the Miller era. Over in Assembly Hall, the Hoosiers back home this evening against Howard. No, not my Uncle Howard, the University. IU trailing by 1, but Al Durham is going to knock down the corner 3 here to give the Hoosiers the lead, 19-17. The freshman making an impact early. Then a little later on the run, Robert Johnson alley-oop to Justin Smith, the freshman again, finishing it off, and the Hoosiers up 10 at halftime. Robert Johnson playing well in this one. In the second half, Deron Davis putting in some work down low. The big man going through 3 guys, gets the bucket and the foul. He finishes with 17 points. Archie Miller gets his first win of the season with the Hoosiers, 86-77. All right, how about some Purdue ball? Purdue Pete and the Boilers hosting Chicago State. And this one was dominated by Purdue start to finish. Carson Edwards with a smooth little crossover here. He finishes at the glass. He had 25 on the night. And then right before the half, Nogel Eastern with the scoop and score at the horn. The Boilers up by 31 at the break. And then Vince Edwards is going to throw down the hammer here. He brings it on the house. And the Boilers move to 2-0 on the season, 111-42. So the Purdue Boilermakers taking on Marquette on Tuesday. Indiana travels to Seton Hall for the Gavitt tip-off games, and the Colts go into a bye week. For IU Sports Media, I'm Jacob Vinson.